Hey, 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 welcome back to the channel. And for those of you who have been waiting for this video, you already know exactly why I made this as fast as I possibly could, because BTS is back in America. Yes, this is not a dream. This is not fan fiction. This is real. April 25th, 2026, Raymond James Stadium in Tampa, Florida, BTS officially opened the North American leg of their ARIRANG World Tour. And I'm here to give you the most honest, most detailed, and most emotional review you've ever watched. Because trust me, this concert was not just any ordinary concert. So grab your drinks, get comfortable, and let's break it all down. What happened that night? Why the entire world went crazy, and why one person in particular, Jimin, managed to steal the attention of an entire stadium. Let's go. Before we dive into the review itself, we need to talk about just how massive this moment actually was. This concert marked BTS's long-awaited return to a stadium in the United States for the first time since their full group performance in Las Vegas back in April 2022. That means more than 4 years between American Army and a full OT7 BTS on stage. For years, guys, a lot happened. Military service, solo albums, a temporary goodbye, tears, and finally, reunification. The ARIRANG World Tour is BTS's 6th concert tour, marking their return to live performances after completing mandatory military service, spanning more than 85 dates across 34 cities in 23 countries. And the album that inspired this entire tour? Their 10th studio album and first post-enlistment release, ARIRANG, which debuted at #1 on the Billboard 200 and spawned the Billboard Hot 100 #1 hit Swim. So picture this, their biggest album, their biggest tour, and they chose Tampa as their first American city. After concerts in Seoul and Tokyo, BTS brought their ARIRANG World Tour to North America on Saturday with the first of 3 sold-out nights at Raymond James Stadium in Tampa, Florida. Tickets were gone within hours. Army from all across America, and even from overseas, flew into Tampa just for this moment. Before BTS even stepped foot on stage, the atmosphere outside Raymond James Stadium was already insane. Army members traveled from across the United States and internationally, turning Florida into a temporary K-pop hotspot, with city officials estimating an economic boost of millions of dollars from the 3-night run. People arrived wearing ARIRANG-themed outfits, dominated by the album's signature color palette of black, white, and red. But what really made me smile? Many fans showed out in concert fits that celebrated Bangtan's grungy, homegrown roots, rocking their iconic pre-debut jerseys and heavy eyeliner, while others donned nautical frills and lace in ARIRANG's signature colors. This was a celebration of 2 eras at once, nostalgia and the future, and it was absolutely beautiful. Once the doors opened, 60,000 exhilarated fans packed Raymond James Stadium. 60,000 people. A full NFL stadium. All there for BTS. And when the lights dimmed and the sound of traditional Korean instruments began to fill the air, I guarantee not a single person in that building didn't get chills. From the very first moments of the show, when a small army of dancers stalked into view carrying lit flares, BTS were positioned as torchbearers, a beacon of Korean culture to the world. That wasn't just a concert opener. That was a statement. BTS played a 23-song set that began with Hooligan and Aliens from their newly released album ARIRANG. Those first 2 songs immediately established the tone. This is not the old BTS. This is a newer, more mature, deeper, older version. But don't worry, the just over 2-hour show gave both new and old recruits a lot to look forward to, packed with classic hits and tracks from their recently released eponymous album, with the septet also keeping the crowd on their toes with 2 setlist slots reserved for surprise songs. The first act of the show also included renditions of Run BTS, They Don't Know About Us, like Animals, Fake Love, Swim, and Merry Go Round. Imagine Fake Love in a stadium with 60,000 people singing every single word. I genuinely cannot. If the first act was the warm-up shot, the second act was the full explosion. The second act featured ARIRANG tracks 2.0, Normal, FYA, and Body to Body, plus fan favorites Mic Drop and Idol. Mic Drop was on a completely different level that night. There was the memorable opening trade-off between jhope and suga, and the surprising yet marvelous fact that the original choreography was trotted out in full. But what left the biggest impression wasn't even necessarily what happened on stage. It was the resounding clarity of the OT7 fan chant that rang out in the stands. And Idol? That legendary hype song that incorporates folk sounds saw the 7 guys stepping down from their elevation to parade around the entire venue. Imagine BTS walking right toward you. I would have fainted on the spot. When it came to Body, the extended ARIRANG sample is what really drove the group's singularity home. How many artists could pull off having a room of thousands serenade them with a traditional folk song in the crowd's non-native language? The answer is only BTS. For the encore, BTS ran through classics like Butter, Dynamite, the tour debut of Permission to Dance, and Magic Shop. Permission to Dance as a tour debut? The stadium absolutely erupted. And Magic Shop? The last time Magic Shop was included in a live performance was 2019, and fans were extremely excited by the song's inclusion, which created a massive buzz on social media after the show. 7 years. 7 years of fans waiting to hear Magic Shop at a concert again, and they finally got it in Tampa. Now, this is the part you've all been waiting for, and I'm going to be completely honest here. Every single member of BTS performed brilliantly that night. But there was one person who was just different. One person who, every time they appeared on the big screen, triggered an even louder explosion of screams from the crowd. Park Jimin. Jimin appeared on stage with his trademark flowing long blonde hair, exuding a godlike aura. That description might sound over the top, but ask anyone who was in that stadium that night, and they will tell you exactly the same thing. He performed the opening song, Hooligan, and Run BTS, wearing a new outfit that was slightly lighter than the costumes that earned him the title of Northern Duke in previous tours, captivating the stage with perfect dance lines. But the most iconic Jimin moment of the entire night? Fancam videos featuring Jimin's hot freestyle dance during the choreography-free FY performance quickly surpassed millions of views, heating up social media. Millions of views, within hours of the concert ending, for a single freestyle performance. This was not an accident. Jimin is a performer operating on a completely different level. When every other member followed the set choreography, Jimin took the free-form moment of FY and turned it into pure artistic expression. Every movement of his body was a language, and 60,000 people held their breath to watch it. On the second day, he showcased his iconic body roll choreography during the impromptu Pied Piper stage, truly captivating the fans. And the result? Throughout the 2-day concert, every time Jimin appeared on the screen, the cheers from the audience filling Tampa Stadium continued endlessly, proving the intense popularity of Jimin America, a portmanteau of Jimin and America. Jimin America. I love that. Immediately after the concert, he became the most trending individual male in the US music category on X, formerly Twitter, dominating the American trending charts. And the verdict from fans? Fans praised Jimin's overwhelming stage presence, saying simply, Jimin stole the show. But I want to add something more technical here. What makes Jimin so mesmerizing is not just his physicality, which is already extraordinary. It is about connection. When Jimin dances, he doesn't look like he is executing moves. He looks like he is feeling every single note, every beat, as if the music enters his body and his body becomes the music itself. Even in 2.0, with its more low-key choreography, Jimin and Jungkook brought a distinct elegance to each controlled movement. That is class. Pure class. A concert is never just about songs and dancing. The most memorable moments often come from simple words spoken straight from the heart. RM expressed how deeply he had missed the audience. You can never imagine how much I missed you. Given the time spent apart, the leader felt some catching up was in order. How are your lives going? Any good news? Any bad news? And Gene? The eldest member explained that Tampa holds a special place in his heart from his solo tour experience the previous year, which is why he had recommended the city to the rest of his bandmates, saying, I felt it back then, too, but I think Tampa is truly number one. There was also an incredibly touching moment when fans had the chance to show off their homemade signs on the big screen, and among the most memorable, I'm 10 and this is my first concert, and let's grow old together. Let's grow old together. With BTS. I needed a moment after reading that. And when it comes to why this tour was extended so far beyond the original plan, Jin had felt that a tour lasting only 3 to 4 months would be breaking a promise to fans all over the world, which led to pushing for the schedule to be expanded so that as many countries as possible could be visited. That is a decision made from the heart, and ARMY everywhere felt it. There is something we also need to talk about honestly. The BTS that returned is different, and that is not a bad thing. It is actually the opposite. On top of a distinct reduction in elaborate choreography, the group leveled up their conceptual execution, from the eerie traditional instruments that set a somber tone before the concert began, to the gorgeous set pieces during costume changes. HYBE founder Bang Si-hyuk even explicitly encouraged this evolution. In an interview with Billboard, he told BTS, "You already possess the kind of aura that can command a stage just by existing," and added, "If you've chosen to open a new chapter, then you need to present a new kind of performance, one that allows the music itself to be heard." The result is a performance more focused on emotion and substance than visual acrobatics. More mature, more confident, more BTS than ever before, but a version that knows exactly who they are. Now, if you haven't made it to Tampa yet, don't panic. The ARIRANG World Tour moves to El Paso, Texas on May 2nd and 3rd, then after 3 nights in Mexico City, moves to Stanford Stadium in California for 3 shows in May before BTS set up at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas. The full North American leg covers 31 dates across 12 cities: Tampa, El Paso, Los Angeles, Oakland, Seattle, Chicago, Atlanta, New York, Boston, Toronto, Vancouver, and Mexico City. And the tour doesn't stop there. The group will embark on a European leg in June and July before returning stateside in August, and as of now, the ARIRANG World Tour keeps BTS on the road until March 2027. March 2027. Nearly a full year of non-stop touring. If there's a city near you on the schedule, get your tickets right now. I want to close this out with something a little more personal. BTS is not just a band. For millions of people around the world, including many of you watching this right now, they are a part of your life. They were there in your hardest moments. They kept you company through music when nothing else could. And after 4 years of waiting, after military service, after all the worry about whether they would ever be the same again, they came back. And they came back better than ever. If there was one message ARMY wanted to deliver to BTS that Saturday night at Raymond James Stadium, it was this: we stayed, and it was worth the wait. Local fans even carried banners saying as much. And after 4 long years since BTS' last stateside concert, the guys seemed just as anxious to get back on stage in front of 60,000 supporters. We stayed, and it was absolutely worth it. So for everyone who was in Tampa, you witnessed history. For everyone heading to an upcoming show, prepare yourself for a life experience you will never forget. And for everyone watching from afar, the ARIRANG era has only just begun, and this is going to be one of the greatest chapters in BTS's entire journey. Purple you. Always. Purple Heart.